Applying special effects to type using filters. So a couple of things when we're dealing with type. Of course, we use our type tool to select our type. If we want to start moving our type around, we move to the Move tool to let us move the type around, and it depends, of course, on what text is active at the moment. So how can we play with the type, so to speak? How can we add some special effects? Now, we do have to note that some of our special effects makes us rasterize our type. By rasterizing the type, it means it's converting it to a picture. So when I right click and go to rasterize type, my type now is a picture and my layer looks different. I get a checkerboard indicating I have transparency. This is now an image layer. This is not a type layer. I cannot go back and edit this type. It is now made of pixels. So you have to be aware of that. Before I do any kind of rasterization or go apply filters to my text, I probably should run a spell check. That's something that most people tend to forget, and as designers, we're not always the best spellers. So under the Edit menu, I do have a check spelling. This is not automatic as you would have it in a Microsoft product or any of our word processing products. This is something that we have to go and do ourselves. And you want to make sure that you're checking all layers if you're going to run through and do a spell check. We're always given the option to add words to our dictionary. We can change words here. We can ignore them. So there's all kinds of things we can do here. Once it's complete, I click OK and it's done. So don't forget to run that spell check. So as we think about what we could do here, there are a couple of features that I can do to my editable text. Remember, this is not editable anymore. So anything I could do to a picture, I could do to that text. However, if I want to keep my text editable, I can go ahead and run an effect on it at the bottom of my layers panel. And I realize this is falling off the video. However, I can do something like a drop shadow. If you navigate down to the bottom of the effects option, there is a drop shadow. Here we go. So I can easily add a drop shadow. I always want to turn on my preview to see what's going on. I tend to like to drag out on the artboard to see what's happening as far as a drop shadow. The cool thing with this, if this is the settings that I'd like to go with, I'll click OK. I can turn an effect on and I can turn it off, and this is still editable text. So I'm still able to go back and change the words, change the spelling if I need to. Now I can also apply some filters. Under the top menu here, filter, I do have a bunch of different filters that I can do. And of course there are a lot of fun things up here, but some of these I'm not going to be able to apply. So let's just see if we can't do a blur to this. Let's do some sort of a Gaussian blur. Here it gives me that message that says this type layer must be rasterized or converted to a smart object before proceeding. If it's rasterized, the text will no longer be editable. Let's go ahead and turn this to a smart object. And so by being a smart object, I have a different icon here as well. The smart object allows me to do some really cool things as far as the filters go, giving them some editing capabilities. So if I move this around here to try to find where my text is at, and I'm going to have to zoom out because I don't know where it is. There it is. So once I found it, I can play with my effect here. If I want this to look blurry for a special effect, I can click OK. And so now again, with it being a smart object, I can turn on and turn off this filter. However, I am no longer being able to edit my text. It's not editable. So you kind of compromise here if you want your text to remain editable, or if you're okay with it turning into pixels and being able to apply those. So if you want to apply a filter, you're going to have to rasterize. If you want to apply one of these effects down here, a layer style, you certainly can do that and still keep your text editable.